Get ready for Sammy's Circuit.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All systems engaged. Welcome to Sammy's Circuit.
You got this. How's everybody doing? I'm so happy to be here. Anytime we get to come together, I'm always thankful and grateful for the opportunity. In celebration of Read Across America Week, I thought we'd call up my new friend, world-famous author Basil Johnston, and see what he thinks about the first book I ever wrote, Sammy versus the Negative Voice. Laura, call Basil.
Initiating video chat. Please hold.
World-famous author Basil Johnston speaking. How may I help you?
Hi, Basil. It's me, Sammy.
Oh, hello, Sammy. I remember you. What can I do for you, son?
Well, it's Read Across America Day this week, and I was hoping to get your opinion on something.
Read Across America. You know, I've read Across America. Several times, in fact. So what'd you want my opinion on? Reading? Reading's amazing. Everyone should do it, as often as possible.
Oh yeah, I agree, Basil. But I was actually hoping to get your opinion on a book that I wrote called Sammy versus the Negative Voice.
You? You wrote a book, eh?
Yeah, I did, and I'm pretty proud of it too. I was hoping I could read it to you, and you could let me know what you think.
You know, Sammy, I understand you have this whole circuit thing going on, but not everyone can be an author, you know. I think you should probably just stick to exercise.
Well, I know I probably won't be a world-famous author or anything, but maybe if you just listen to the book...
All right. Listen, I'll give you 10 minutes, but after that, I've got things to do. You know how it is.
Oh, okay. Let me get started then. Here we go. Sammy versus the Negative Voice. Sammy was 8. He was starting grade 2. The other kids had friends, and he wanted some too. But Sammy felt different from the kids in his grade, and he became sad at the jokes that some made. At recess, he would watch as all the kids played, but Sammy wasn't invited, so alone he stayed. Sammy's teacher decided one day in the fall that today they would play a game of kickball. When it came to sports, kids were pretty mean. They didn't want to have Sammy on their team. Young Sammy was determined to show everyone he knew that he could play sports and be good at them too. The pitcher geared up. The ball flew off the mound, but Sammy's kick missed and he fell on the ground. Laughter burst out. That was awful, they said. The kids pointed and giggled as Sammy turned red. Sammy came home upset, with his heart bruised and torn, and that was the day the Negative Voice was born. The kids had all laughed. They had been so unkind, but worse than that now were the thoughts in his mind. I'm awful. I'm terrible. I should have never tried. I can't do anything, he said as he cried. From that day on, it stuck like glue. Wherever Sammy went, the Negative Voice went too. It followed him through grades 3, 4, and 5. Sammy couldn't lose that voice, no matter how hard he tried. It was there during tests.
You can't do this,
it said. It was so hard to think with the Negative Voice in his head. It was there during recess as all the kids played, saying,
You'll never have friends like those other kids made.
So Sammy went home and just sat on his couch. The Negative Voice made him lonely and kind of a grouch. His sister couldn't help. She didn't know what to do. So she told her friend Ronnie, hoping maybe he knew. When Ronnie showed up, young Sammy complained. He just wanted to hide and not deal with the pain. Ronnie thought to himself, I have no other choice. I must help Sammy stop that negative voice. Ronnie told Sammy, it doesn't matter what they say. It's what you think of you. So make that voice go away. So Sammy tried thinking about positive words, but since he didn't believe them, the negative voice he still heard. Ronnie scratched his head. He'd have to try harder. That negative voice was tough, but Ronnie was smarter. Let's try something else. Now repeat after me. I got this, he shouted. Just say it, you'll see. I got this, Sammy said as he tried to repeat it. No, not like that, Ronnie said. You have to believe it. So Sammy took a deep breath and closed both his eyes. I got this, he yelled, much to Ronnie's surprise. That's it, Ronnie cheered. You got this, he repeated. But he knew Sammy's battle was not yet completed. Sammy went back to school the very next day, and he tried not to think the negative way. I can do this. I got this, he made himself say. I'll never give up. I am awesome today. And as he continued, the negative voice got smaller. When Sammy entered his class, he was walking a little taller. The kids all noticed. Something seemed out of place. Sammy looked happy. He had a smile on his face. Sammy's thoughts turned positive, and his confidence grew. He began to like himself, and the other kids did too. When Sammy would hear the voice say,
Don't try it.
he'd say his positive words, and the negative voice would be quiet. No longer was Sammy sad and blue every day. When he thought positive things, the negative voice went away. Sammy took what he learned from the battle he went through, and he hopes that these words can help someone like you. So don't let the negative voice come from you or another. Speak positive words to yourself, friends, and others. And when you meet people with nothing positive to say, tell them you got this and brighten their day. The end. Well, that was it. What'd you think, Basil?
Samuel, that was beautiful. I have to apologize. I was pretty harsh earlier, but this book was phenomenal, and it really taught me something too.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Basil. What did it teach you?
Well, first I learned to never judge a book by its cover. I didn't take you seriously at first because you're not a world-famous author, like myself, but that was wrong. I also learned that if we're not careful, we might become the negative voice for someone else. So I'm sorry, Sammy. I didn't mean to be a negative voice.
It's okay, Basil. I appreciate your apology.
Well, I better be going, but thank you for sharing your story. It was great. You know, Sammy, everyone should read books, and write them too if they want. We all have our own amazing stories to tell. This is Basil Johnston signing off.
Bye, Basil. Thanks for your feedback. You know, Basil's right. We are all unique, and we each have our own story to tell. Matter of fact, I think it's time for a challenge. This week, as you're celebrating Read Across America, think about all the books you've read, and then think about your own story. If you were going to write a book about your own experiences, what would it be about? What happens in that story? Are there sad times? Happy times? We all have a story to tell, and maybe you'll even be inspired to write your own. You're amazing, and that's never going to change. Until I see you next time, keep saying those positive words. I can do this. I got this. I'll never give up. And don't forget, you got this.